Okay, hi folks. This is Ray Scribbins with Spotlight on Sports and Events. I'm here with Mr. Ryan Shafer, 30-year veteran of the PBA Tour, Motiv National Staff member, and he's going to explain to us a little bit today on ball layouts, on symmetrical and asymmetrical balls, and also give you a little bit of knowledge on a new release from Motiv Bowling. So, Ryan, take it away.
How you doing, Ray? As you can see right in the middle here is an unfamiliar looking ball, and that's because it's brand new. It's the United Revolt. It has not been released yet. I believe the release date is in middle March sometime.
March 15th, if I read it correctly.
And I am lucky enough to be able to have one of these. For those of you who throw a lot of Motiv equipment, this should fall somewhere in between your Havoc and your Primal Fear. The Havoc and the United Revolt are a low RG, high differential core. The Primal Fear is high RG, high differential. So if you're throwing this ball or your Havoc, and the ball starts to hook a little bit early or run out of energy, the Primal Fear is a perfect ball to go to, so you really don't have to move your feet. You can just kind of stay where you were and change balls and be successful there. It should save a little more energy and go through the pins a little bit better. This ball here is a pretty special piece itself, the Chronic Paranoia. Knowing what I knew about the original Paranoia, when the Chronic came out, I had no idea that this ball would perform like it does. The regular Paranoia for me is not a good league ball just because of how I throw the ball. I've seen many of my teammates throw that ball and be pretty successful with it in league, but for me it was a little too sensitive. It wanted to hook a little too strong off the spot and underreact in the oil. It's a great ball on flat patterns for me.
Okay.
The Chronic Paranoia doesn't react like that at all for me. It's a great benchmark ball. So if you're a pro shop operator and you sell a lot of Motiv and you have a customer that comes in, buys one ball a year and wants a ball that they can use on a variety of different conditions, this is the ball, the Chronic Paranoia.
Okay.
You can use it when they hook a little bit, you can use it when there's a little bit of oil. It's a great benchmark piece.
Okay.
And then you have on the end the Jackal Ghost, which is one of our asymmetrical balls along with the Trident and the Jackal LE. And hopefully when we do the video later, the ball motion videos, you're going to be able to see how much stronger this ball is than all the other balls in the line here.
Okay.
It has a strong cover, has a strong core, and once again it is asymmetrical, so it's going to be a little different motion, but it needs oil to be successful. So if you're looking for an oil ball, that should be the choice.
So you think the asymmetrical, Ryan, is the difference in the strongness of the balls? Or is it cover stock?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think just the numbers with the core, it's low RG, it's high differential, which makes it similar in numbers to these two pieces, but the difference is that it is asymmetrical, and the cover is completely different. It's a strong cover. I like to use the analogy of a car with a big engine and a lot of tread on the tires. You're going to be able to go really fast, and that's
right.
what this ball has. It has a lot of tread on the tires, and it has a big engine. It's also a great ball for somebody that has a lot of ball speed. Not necessarily if they're bowling on a lot of oil, but if somebody has a lot of ball speed and they don't have a high rev rate, it's a great ball for them.
Okay.
I will warn that an asymmetrical ball is not for everybody because it's a little more sensitive off the spot. So if you have a player that does not repeat their release as good as they can,
Right.
They're a little erratic with their release, an asymmetrical ball is going to be a little jumpy. A symmetrical ball is a better idea for that type of player. But if they're a pretty good average player and they repeat pretty good, and they just have high ball speed and a lower rev rate, the Ghost is a great piece for them.
Okay, great. Some of the new stuff the pro shop owners are doing, at least for me, and you probably know more about it and can explain it a heck of a lot better than I can. Some of these new dual angle drillings that they're coming out with.
Yeah, people have been doing that for a while now, and I kind of avoided it. I'm a little bit stubborn that way, but
30 years on the tour, you've proven yourself. So it works. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to eye a ball and kind of know where you want the pin in relation to your axis. You can eye it and everything. But if you really want to fine-tune your ball reaction, get it exactly where you want it, you can use the dual angle method. And basically, there's three numbers involved with the dual angle method. This Ghost here is actually what we would call 40 by 5.5 by 20. And the 3 different numbers mean 3 different things. The angles, like the first number, the 40, the angles are on a scale of 0 to 85. So the lower the number in the first number, it's going to react sooner. So on a scale of 85 for this ball, a 40 is somewhere in the middle. So it's not going to hook early, it's not going to go way down the lane, it's just kind of, going to give you normal length on a ball.
Yep.
The second number is the distance of the pin from your axis. So my number on this ball is 5.5. My axis happens to be 4 over and 1 inch up. So this places a pin high up here above the fingers. This ball has a pretty decent pin length on it out of the box. And what that means is when you get closer to 3 3/8, that's going to be your strongest reaction. That's going to be your most flare.
Okay.
That doesn't work for me because my ball speed's in the 15 to 15.5 range when I'm hooking it. So if I use a pin that strong, it flares out, it runs out of energy, it reaches its potential too soon, and then it doesn't, if it does hit the pocket, it doesn't go through the pins very good.
Okay.
So for me, a 5 to 6 inch pin is probably the most successful pin placement that I can use, and on this ball I chose 5.5. The strongest I like to go is 5. If I use a 4-inch pin, 4.5-inch pin, a lot of times, it can be what I call a 59-footer. It looks great for 59 feet and it just refuses to strike. Now if I blow in a lot of oil, maybe I do need a 4.5-inch pin, but it's not going to last very long for me. I might be better off using a 5-inch pin and putting a little more surface on the ball.
Okay.
Never lose sight of that fact either. Drilling is important, but always remember the cover of the ball is what's touching the lane. And not to get off track here, but people forget about that. The cover is what's touching the lane. It's the most overlooked aspect of a bowling ball is the cover.
Which, and if you think about it, makes a whole lot of sense.
Right. So for me on this ball, 5.5 is going to give me a little bit of strength. It's not going to be too strong down lane, but it's going to be strong enough. It's not going to reach its flare potential too soon for me.
Okay.
And the last number is how strong it is off the spot down the lane. And the lower the number, the stronger it is off the spot. So we use 20 on this ball. So I'm 40 by 5.5 by 20. And the 20 is going to react strong down the lane. We're going to blow on a lot of oil on tour. I'm going out on tour. We're blowing the Players' Championship, which was 46 feet last year, and the TSC is a week after that. And we use Defy oil, which is kind of like slick, like Kegel ice oil.
Okay.
And the PBA likes to put it down the lane so the lane holds up longer for all the high rev rate players.
Yep.
So I'm looking to be able to use this piece when I go out so I can create some back end reaction and cut through that oil on the back end.
Okay. All right. One thing I'd like to touch on, and how much you're familiar with it or not, I don't know. There's 3 pieces here that has purple in it. They've done some research in purple or red seems to strike more, at least with Motiv covers.
Yeah, supposedly for our covers, that's what I've heard. Purple seems to be the color, which is okay with me. Purple's one of my favorite colors.
Yeah, mine too.
My banner on tour is purple, so
there you go.
That's okay with me. I don't mind seeing purple go down the lane. So whenever your color is very important. Everybody thinks it's just what looks good on the shelf, but it does determine how much a ball hooks. I know in the past when I've done ball tests, they have a ball and it's a particular color, and we test that ball, and you like that ball and how much it hooks, and when they market that ball, it comes out for sale, it's a different color, and it doesn't quite react the same.
Okay.
And it can make a little bit of difference.
Huh. Well, there's some more information for you that probably a lot of you didn't know. So we're going to take these balls down on the lane, record each individual ball, and see what kind of ball motions we got, and Ryan will explain as we go along, I'm sure, different layouts and what ball reactions are which. So let's go down on the lanes, Ryan, and see what these things do.
Yep, and you're fortunate enough, this is going to be the first time I throw this United Revolt. I have not thrown it yet since I just got it, so you're going to be able to see me throw it for the first time.
Okay.
And when I go down there and bowl, I plan on throwing each ball from the same spot. I'm going to stand in the same spot and look at the same target. That doesn't mean I'm always going to hit my target, but I'm going to throw these balls from the same target so you can see the different reactions from front to back.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you won't be more than a boat or two off. I think you're known as one of the ultimate shot makers in your 30-year career on a PBA tour, and I know I've enjoyed sitting home in a recliner and having a beverage and rooting for you all the way.
Well, thanks, Ray. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to you the rest of the way, Ryan, and we're going down on the lanes to see what these balls do.
All right.
All righty. Well, one more time, trick.
It does kill me about the purple. Because usually for
Really does.
companies it's red. Red is the color. When people want to see hook, they put red.
Yep.
And for some reason, storm. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to compare 5 bowling balls. We're going to compare the United Revolt, the Revolt Havoc, the Primal Fear, the Chronic Paranoia, and the Jackal Ghost. They all have similar pin placements as far as 5 to 5.5 to 6 inches, because that's personally what I like to do. But what I want you to watch when Ray gets the camera on the ball motion is the difference in front to back. Not necessarily side to side motion, but front to back hook. That determines how the ball goes through the pins, and it will determine which ball is the ball you should be throwing in lead, so you can strike more instead of leave 10 moves.
Now this is the Motiv Havoc, Revolt Havoc.
I am standing on 30 and looking at 16 with every one of these balls. So the idea is so you can see the difference front to back of all the balls. That never happens.
Okay, Ray Skurman's here with Spotlight on Sports and Events. This is the United Revolt, the new release from Motiv.
can see, comparing the Havoc to the United Revolt, for me the Havoc is a hair sooner and it's smoother on the back end. So sometimes that's a better reaction than that bigger back end reaction. So now we're going to try the primal figure. By those reactions, that ball tends to go a little longer, saves a little more energy. It's also higher RG. The differentials are similar, but the higher RG makes that ball go further down the lane. Next is going to be the Chronic Paranoia. This right here is a benchmark ball for me. It's generally the first ball in the bag, so I can read a lane. A lot of times I just keep using it because it's the right matchup. This ball is medium RG, and it's medium to high differential, so that's why it's a good benchmark. That's a PBA 50 messenger.
The older you get, the slower the messenger, right?
ball to try, the Jacko Ghost. Now, out of all the balls, this one's a little different because this is an asymmetrical. The other ball is symmetrical. Now, of all 5 balls, the Chronic Paranoia is drilled the strongest. They're all within a ½ inch to an inch pin distance, but the Chronic Paranoia was drilled the strongest, and you can see how that ball is a little more violent off the spot because of that. I've stood in the same spot. I'm going to move a little bit with the Jacko Ghost just to show you how different asymmetrical can be than a symmetrical. As you can see, on a normal house condition, that ball is very hard for me to control. But for the PBA Tour, where there's a lot more oil, that ball should be perfect. Being an 8-board move, you need to hit the pocket compared to all the other ones.
No more than that. All right, let's see it.
Now, the most important thing when choosing your bowling ball isn't what bowling ball is the prettiest or the most expensive. You have to take 2 things into consideration. The engine, which is the core, and the tires, which is the cover, okay? So they both determine how much a ball hooks. Sometimes you can have a big engine and not so much tread on the tires, and other times you can have a smaller engine and a lot of tread on the tires. As you can see, that Jacko Ghost, big engine, big tread on the tires. So that's why that ball hooks so much. It's cover and core.
Well, from Spotlight on Sports and Events, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'd like to thank Ryan Shafer for coming out today and presenting this. If you guys have any questions or anything, the Facebook page is up there, Spotlight on Sports and Events, as well as the web page. If you want to shoot me a message or something, I can certainly get in contact with Ryan, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to answer all your questions.
Sure thing, Ray. Thanks for having me, and hope to make a habit out of it.
Likewise.